escaped the Minecraft end. But how did I get stuck in the end? My friend Korean messaged me and he told me he built me a prison in the end that was impossible to escape. And he said that this was the hardest prison he has ever made for me. So he sent me the server and I logged on. I spawned on one bedrock block and in front of me was a sign that said the portal to escape was right in that island. So I had to somehow find a way to get to that island and escape the end. But underneath me was just an endless void, and if I fell, I would lose to Korean. But when I turned around, I saw a platform with 5 turtles that were all locked in a little jail made of glass. And right next to the turtles was a crafting table. But I had no idea how any of these items were going to help me escape the end. So the first thing I did was mine the crafting table to see if there was anything underneath it. And when I did, I found a hopper with a nether wart and an awkward potion. But I had no idea what I was supposed to do with a bunch of babies, an awkward potion, and a nether wart. But when I turned around, I noticed that there was a brewing stand. So I jumped to it to see if there was anything inside. And when I opened it, I found out that it was already charged. So that means I had to make a potion. So I put my awkward potion in the brewing stand and put my nether wart in. But nothing happened. I needed to get another item to brew this awkward potion. But I still had no idea why I needed a potion. But then I realized why. When I looked down, I found out that we actually weren't above the void. We were above an obsidian platform. And we had to make a potion to get down there. But I had no idea what type of potion I can make to fall down. The only potion that would work is a potion of slow falling because it makes you take no fall damage. But we didn't have the items to get that. So we had to find a different potion that we can make. And while I was looking for items for the potion, I found a secret hopper right underneath the main platform. And it was almost out of reach for me to get, but when I angled myself perfectly, I was able to open it. And inside was 64 seagrass. But what was I supposed to do with 64 seagrass? I was completely confused and lost, and I felt like there was no way for me to escape. So then I decided to go in F5 mode to see if there's anything else underneath the platform. But I found nothing. We already got everything that there was to get. But we still needed to make a potion to get us down to that obsidian. So I went back to the turtles to stare at them to try and think what I could do. And then I realized the only use for seagrass is to make babies into men. And that would be the key for us to escape. So I started to spam feed them seagrass. I needed these baby sea turtles to become adult sea turtles. Because when baby turtles become adults, they actually drop a special item. They drop an item called a skew. And with 5 skew, we could actually make a turtle helmet. And this turtle helmet would allow us to craft a special potion. So after about 5 minutes, one of the turtles grew up and I picked up his skew. And he had no more use for me, so... oh my god. And after a while, all the turtles started to grow and I picked up all their scutes. So now we could take our 5 scutes and turn it into a turtle's helmet. Then I went to the brewing stand and I put my helmet and the awkward potion inside. And the turtle helmet is going to brew the awkward potion into a secret potion. And that potion is called the Potion of the Turtle Master. And this potion was special because the potion had slowness 4 and it also had resistance 3. And when you have resistance 3, you're able to take 50 blocks of fall damage and live. And I estimated that we were about 50 blocks above that obsidian floor. So if I drink this potion, I should be able to survive. So I drank the Potion of the Turtle Master and I jumped out all the way to the platform and I survived with half a heart. And I waited for the effects of the turtle potion to wear off. And the end island with the portal was so close I can almost touch it. But the obsidian platform had nothing. It was just a flat floor. There was no secret entrances or any secret tunnels I could go to. I was completely lost. So I decided to go into F5 mode to see if there was anything underneath. And when I did, I found a huge bedrock room under the obsidian. And right on the side of it was a huge waterfall. And there was an entrance to a room right next to the waterfall. So I jumped down into the waterfall and swam into the room. And when I got there was a sign that said throw out a glass bottle and the crafting table. So I threw out my glass bottle and my crafting table into the void. And now all I had in my inventory was a nether wart. And when I entered the room, there was a huge gap that led to the void and I had to somehow get to the other side of it. And when I turned around, I saw 2 anvils and I picked both of them up. But these anvils wouldn't help me at all because if I place an anvil, it will just fall into the void. So I had to find another way to cross this giant gap. So I started looking around to see if there was anything hidden. But I found nothing. There was nothing in the corners or any secret hoppers or chests. And so I decided to go into F5 to see if there was anything underneath. And when I did, I found out that there was a hopper right underneath me. But there was no way for me to open it from this angle. So I had to find another way to get to it. And then I realized if I flow myself down in the water, I would be able to get the hopper. And when I opened the hopper, it had 2 string inside. So I went to the main room to try and think, how can I get to the other side with 2 string and 2 anvils? And then I realized if I place a string and place an anvil on top of it, the string is strong enough to hold an anvil. I have no idea how this works, but Minecraft logic is the best logic. So I placed both the anvils down and parkoured to the other side. And it felt like we were getting extremely close to escaping. So then I went into the next room and the way to get out seemed to be on the top of this tall wall. And in front of the wall, there was a sign that said swim but hot. And I had no idea what the sign meant. But right next to it was lava and 3 pieces of sand. But I had no idea how any of these items were going to help me get to the top. So I looked for more clues and I found a crafting table in a hole. And the hole was 2 blocks deep. So if I broke the crafting table, I would not be able to pick it up or use it anymore. anymore. So I left it alone because anyways, we had no items that we could craft. Then I went into the last room and there seemed to be a hole in the middle of the wall. And when I tried to jump to see what was inside, there looked like there was nothing inside. But the only thing in the room was a hopper in the corner. And inside the hopper was 2 blaze powder. But that was it. There was no other room. I had no idea what I was doing. I tried to look for clues, but I found nothing. And I tried to think, what does this sign that says swim but hot mean? And that's when I realized what I had to do. If I was able to pick up this lava and place it to the top of the wall, it would make a lava waterfall down. And right now I have half of the amount of items you need to make a fire resistance potion. So if I was able to make a fire resistance potion, I would be able to swim out of this room. Just like the sign says, swim but hot. So the items that I'm missing right now is a bucket, a glass bottle, and a magma cream. So if I'm able to somehow get these items, I can escape. And that's when I realized what I needed the sand for. With 3 sand, you can make 3 pieces of glass. And with 3 pieces of glass, you're able to make a glass bottle. So I broke the 3 pieces of sand that was right next to the sign. And when I did, I found a hopper right behind it with a bucket inside. So now we had 1 out of the 3 items we needed to escape. And then I picked up the lava with my bucket and underneath was another hopper. And in that hopper was a slime ball. But I didn't need a slime ball. I needed a magma cream. But then I realized I had 2 blaze powder. And if you craft a slime ball and a blaze powder together, it's going to make a magma cream. And now things were slowly coming together. Now all I needed was 2 things. I needed a brewing stand and a furnace. So I started looking around to see where they might be. And I had suspicion that there was maybe something in the hole. So I went in F5 mode to try and take a peek of what was inside. And when I did, I found a furnace. So I had to angle myself exactly perfect to open it. But there was nothing to fuel the sand inside. And so I tried to think of what item I could smelt the sand with. And the answer was right in front of me. I can use the sign. So I grabbed the sign and put it in the furnace. And with 1 sign, I was able to smelt 1 sand into a piece of glass. So I only needed 2 more signs to get the rest of the glass. So I tried to think back of where I last saw a sign. And then I remembered the first sign we saw when we entered this room. So I had to somehow make my way back all the way over there without falling into the void. And then I realized what I had to do. I had to jump into the water and swim up. But it was extremely far away and extremely risky. And if I messed up, this run would be over and I would lose. So I prepared myself with some awesome dance moves, backed up, and jumped in the water. Come on. No. Yes! And with 1 block to spare, I was able to make it. So I swam all the way to the top and grabbed the sign that was at the entrance. And then I parkoured back all the way to the room. Then I put the second sign in the furnace to get my second piece of glass. So now all I needed was 1 more piece of glass. But I had no idea where the last sign was. I already checked everywhere. I checked all the corners in all the rooms, but I found nothing. And I knew there was probably something behind this crafting table, but I didn't want to break it. Because if I broke it, I would not be able to use it. And I need to use this crafting table to make my glass bottles. And then I got the idea that it might be next to this hopper because all the other hoppers have all the sides exposed except for this one. So if I broke it, maybe there was something behind it or underneath it. And this was my last chance. If it wasn't here, I would be completely stuck and I would lose this challenge. But when I broke it, there was a hopper right next to it. And when I opened it, there was a sign and it was named LOL. So then I went to the furnace and put my last sign in and got the last piece of glass I needed. Then I went to the crafting table and I placed my 3 glass and I made my glass bottle. And now I was able to break the crafting table. And right behind it was the brewing stand we needed. But we had one more huge problem. We needed to fill this glass bottle with water. But that wouldn't be a problem. All we had to do was get back to that long waterfall. So I took a step back and jumped. Come on! Yes! And we made it again with 1 block to spare. And then I swam all the way to the water source and I made my glass into water bottles. Then I parkoured all the way back and placed my water bottle in the brewing stand and placed my blaze powder to charge it. And then I put my nether wart in to make my potion into an awkward potion. Then I put my magma cream in to make it into a fire resistance potion. So then I placed my lava on top of the wall and drank the potion. And I swam up the lava. And we finally were able to pass the giant wall. Then I jumped down to the next room. And the path to escape was right in front of me. And right next to the escape path was a hopper. And inside the hopper was 12 cobblestone. But there was a problem. If I placed all these 12 cobblestone blocks, I would not be able to reach that island. The island was way farther than 12 blocks away. So I had to think of another way to get there. So I went back into the main room and I found 2 rooms. The first room had a piston door that was being held up by a netherite block. And inside the room was 2 pieces of quartz. But the netherite block was unbreakable with just my fist. And if I tried to mine the piston, I would never be able to move the netherite block. I had to find a way to make this piston pull this netherite block back so I could go inside the room. And there was some redstone underneath it, so I decided to break it. And while I was mining the redstone, I found a redstone torch powering the piston. So I broke the torch and it pulled the netherite block back so I was able to go inside the room. And I grabbed both pieces of quartz in the room and it looked like there was nothing else in here. So I also grabbed the piston and went to the second room. And this next room only had 1 block of space to go inside it. But I didn't have a water block, so I wasn't able to just swim underneath it. So I looked at my inventory for a way to fit underneath 1 block, and then I found the answer. I could use this piston, and I would be able to fit underneath 1 block. So I placed the piston and stood underneath it, and then I put the redstone torch next to it. But I made sure to grab the redstone torch. And then I crawled crawled into the next room. And this next room was completely empty except for a piston. So I grabbed it and went back to the entrance. And the reason I got this redstone torch is because I had to power this piston to go back into the main room. So I placed the redstone torch next to the piston and it pushed me down. But before I left, I made sure to grab the piston and the torch. And I made my way into the main room. But it looked like we already went into every room. And I was pretty confused because I just had a bunch of junk and I had to cross like 30 blocks to get to the main island. And I started to feel sad because I thought Korean beat me. But as I was feeling sad, I saw a hopper underneath me. And inside was 16 bottles of honey. And that was completely useless to me. I was beginning to lose hope, so I had to do something I've never done before. I would have to use my brain. And then I had the idea of using the crafting table to see what I could craft. And I found out that I could craft 4 honey blocks. And that was absolutely useless. So I used my brain for a second time. And I looked at what other items I could craft. And then I realized I could craft 2 observers using all the items we got here. And then I knew exactly what I had to do. Using sticky pistons, observers, and honey blocks, we're able to make a flying machine and get to the island. So I got straight to building. And it was kind of annoying to build because I had to use the honey blocks to be able to place the observers and the pistons at the right angle. But after I got the first row of the flying machine done, I was able to do the second row super easily. And just like that, we were able to build a flying machine. And I placed a redstone torch to activate it. And we were on our way to the island. And just like that, we made it to the end island. And I ran all the way to the portal and jumped inside. But when I got to the overworld, Korean was waiting for me and he killed me. But this war between me and Korean is not over. We're racing to 500,000 subscribers. And I would say that's impossible to get to, but in the last month, we went from no subscribers to over 100,000. We have built one of the strongest communities on YouTube in a month. So if you enjoyed these videos, subscribe.